Oh man, this is going to be epic. I'm gonna give you, like I already did the intro video for the channel, and I was talking non-stop there for half an hour. I recommend you watch that, by the way. You're gonna enjoy it. I think I did a nice, it's not perfect, you know, it was a little bit impromptu, but it was a very nice video. And you know what to expect from me after watching that. But what I really wanted to do today was 2 days before the release, the official release of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition for Switch. I want to make my prediction for what I'm gonna do with the new ending, with the new section story there, the additional stuff, which is gonna be the real ending for that story, the real ending for the game. I think they're also going to use it to tie it with their other project, which in my opinion is gonna be another Xenoblade game, like Xenoblade 4. They're gonna use this new story in Chronicles X to tie it to the rest of everything, to tie it to the Claw Saga with Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, to tie it to Xeno Saga, perhaps even to Xenogears. So they're gonna, the whole franchise, I think they're planning to make a game as continuation and conclusion for the entire franchise that's gonna have characters, people from all of the games, and it's gonna be really awesome. I think they're planning to do their masterpiece, their master work with what comes after Xenoblade Chronicles X. But before that, they have to do something to tie it all together and to tie Xenoblade Chronicles X with the rest. And they're gonna do that with this new release, this definitive edition release in Switch. So here we're gonna begin. Spoilers, obviously. If I manage to get this right, you will be getting you know, the new ending, the new everything about the lone hero character from Xenoblade X. You know, the guy that saves them at the very beginning of the game, and then you don't see him again until now, until this new stuff, when he's going to reappear. If you don't want spoilers on that, don't watch the rest of this. So now we're gonna begin. So I consider that you already know what happened in Xenoblade Chronicles X. So you play through the game and you beat it, or you watch the movie. I actually recommend this. Watch the movie here in YouTube. Xenoblade Chronicles X, the movie. You can watch the whole story for the game in probably less than 10 hours and get that whole story, which is a good one. But then if you want more, you can listen to what I'm gonna say here. And you can also wait, you're gonna have to wait a while for this, until you can play the definitive edition, or until finally the videos for the new ending and the new story at the end of the definitive edition get posted here in YouTube, and then you can find out. But right now, I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. So what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna get my prediction right, which case is, I think it's something good for me, because I'm working on being an author of really exciting, awesome science fiction action thrillers. So if I can get this prediction right so easily, I think that tells you a lot about my ability to design stories and all that. If I don't get my prediction right, this is still great if you're a fan of Xenoblade Chronicles X or the Xeno Saga in general, or great stories in general even, because what you will be hearing here is my way of doing it. So if I was given, if they tell me, okay, author Pedro Cristobal, we want you to write us the new ending, or the actual ending, because they left it open before, so this is the real ending for Xenoblade Chronicles X, and you need to, you know, do something with the lone hero there. You need to show people who the lone hero is. Boom. Prompt. Homework. This is what my answer for that will be. So, you need to know more than just Xenoblade Chronicles X. You need to know a little bit of the whole series. If you know a little bit of the whole series, by now you already know that there are in the games many similarities. You know that in all the games, at the end they are fighting some sort of demigod, some sort of deity. In all of them, by the way, they're fighting that kind of, either fighting or meeting one of those two. They either meet that kind of deity, or they are fighting that kind of holy being, something like that. But in addition, in all of them, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, 3 are future redeemed, and the only one that's left is X. We didn't have it, but I think we're gonna have it now. In all of them, they got the Zohar or the conduit with the Trinity. The Trinity is 3 special people, or in all of them, these are not really people, because they got like special powers stuff, so they're like more than human. So in the first Xenoblade, it was basically the Sansa, the bad guy that is like Chalk, Mayneth, and who was the third one? I think the third one is probably the robot, basically, Albes. In the second one, it was much easier to see in the second one. The Aegis, so Numa, who is Midra and Pyra, so Malos, the bad guy. And then the third one is also, once again, basically Klaus. Though Klaus is like the creator, actually. The third one is, again, the robot. So we don't see Albis there, but Albis is present in everything. In Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it was, once again, Noah with his sword of the end. That's basically Malos. It was also Matthew with his fist, which was the equivalent of Numa. And then the third one was very clear there, was basically the union of A and Alpha. So it was kind of like the robot, but in this one, the robot was also playing the role of Klaus, like the deity, so like the holy being, the creator. So the same thing is going to happen with Xenoblade Chronicles X, because in my opinion, all the X in Xenoblade Chronicles X is like a variable. Like, I think they're going to have, which is the reason why they say at the very end of the original Xenoblade Chronicles X, they tell you, oh, this story, like, it never ends. It keeps repeating. There are like many of them like this. And yes, there are. 1, 2, 3, X, there might be more, but those are the ones that they have given us. And X is kind of like a variable, right? So the reality X, the reality of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it could be 7, 10, whatever, it's kind of like a variable. They just decided to give it X. But all of them has things in common, and they have characters that are similar. Like all of them have this Albus guy with the gray hair, or girl. They change genders, but they all have this character. Even Xenosaga has that character, Chaos. Chaos is like the A and the Albus from Future Redeemed and Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but in Xenosaga. So even Xenosaga has those things. So here's the thing. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, I predict that what they're gonna do for the new ending, the extra story section, is that they're gonna reveal that. They're gonna reveal finally where their Zohar or conduit is. In my opinion, their Zohar conduit is gonna be like a clone one, like a virtual one, not the real one. But it's gonna have its own trinity of people. And the trinity of people are gonna be, one of them is gonna be the protagonist, so you, the player. And the player is gonna be like the Numa, Pyra, Mithra character in this X reality, in this story. The equivalent of, I haven't reached that yet, but the equivalent of A and Alpha is gonna be Elma and the Lone Hero. So the Lone Hero, I think, is gonna be like an Alpha X. It's gonna be kind of like the Alpha-like Albus of this story. And the Elma is kind of like the A from Future Redeemed, but in the X reality. She could also be, I'm almost sure she's just gonna be one of these two. Elma is gonna be like the equivalent of the character A from Future Redeem in Xenoblade 3, but she's gonna be that character for X. If she's not that character for X, then she's gonna be the equivalent of Cosmos from Xenosaga, but in the story, in the reality of X, which is not exactly the same. That also makes sense because we know that in Xenoblade Chronicles X, they have something that is similar to the Gnosis from Xenosaga, which is this ghost. And the new final story for the Definitive Edition is gonna bring what? The ghosts, which are like the equivalent of the Gnosis. It's gonna bring the lone hero that saved them, and this lone hero that saved them, in my opinion, is gonna end up being Alpha. It's gonna be like Alpha X. So, but it's also going to bring the battle with the deity-like character, the battle with this creator character like Alpha, because they love doing this at the end of all the Xenoblades, and they haven't done it in X. Well, they're gonna do it in X with the Definitive Edition because they love doing it in all of them. Also, because I don't think they're doing it just to copy the other stories. I don't think they're doing it just to, you know, use things from the other ones. I think they're gonna do like another Xenoblade game where there's gonna be a big element of the story that is gonna be that it's not a coincidence that they all have these similar characters and these similar stories in some way. It's actually on purpose, and it's gonna be part of the story in the one that they're gonna do after the Definitive Edition of X and Switch 1. I think the one they're gonna do for Switch 2 is gonna throw at us something like that, and it's gonna mix all the series of the Xeno multiverse, including Xenogears, and it's gonna be something really great. And I think they have been planning this for a while. Monolith Soft, Takahashi guy, who's probably the author, right, of the whole thing, and that's what's coming. But here we're focusing right now on X, right? I'm gonna give you my prediction, my story idea for what they're gonna do for that sequel one in the Switch 2 for Xenoblade Chronicles 4 that's gonna mix and unite all the Xeno series. I'm gonna give you my whole story for that too, which is gonna be way better than this. But before that, I need to give you my prediction for how they end X, because it is also what they are doing next. So I'm gonna do that first and then give you my prediction for the one that's gonna take them a few years. That, for me, it's gonna take just a few days, because I'm just, you know, telling you here what I would do for that story. I don't need to make a game or make a movie or make a series. I can just, you know, make a video and tell you. For them, it's gonna take a while. They're gonna take like 1 or 2 more years before they release what I'm gonna give you in a few days for the Switch 2. Okay, so what else are they gonna do in X with the lone hero and with Elma? Elma is the equivalent of A, but she is an A or a Cosmos that still believes in Alpha. She's not opposite to Alpha, and probably still sees him as something good because he saved them. But here's the thing that I believe that's what's gonna happen and what they're gonna throw at you. Xenoblade loves, they always do it. They love giving you a hero and then showing the hero as a bad guy, or giving you a bad guy and then showing the bad guy as someone who's gonna end up joining your side. So they're gonna do that with the lone hero, in my opinion. And how can they do that with the lone hero? Well, first of all, this will explain everything in X, including the fact that they are robots and all that. As we know, at the end of Future Redeem in 3, Alpha was gonna actually wipe out their human race there and their civilization there and make it again as he desired, as he saw that it was gonna be better, without the flaws, improved, another version of humankind basically. But they defeat this Alpha, this you know, robotic Alphas, whatever. So it doesn't happen. But in the reality of X, maybe this Alpha wins the battle against the good guys. So when he wins the battle, the Earth and the Earth civilization is in a way not destroyed, but it is the way it was before. It's wiped out. So the way it's gonna be now, it's gonna be what Alpha in future Redeemed would have done if he had defeated all of them, and he had defeated the Mobius and all the others, and then he had made their reality, their world, their civilization as he wished. So if that happened, he would have probably, because it's a robot basically, not made them human, but made them human-like and made them robotic, right? So it is exactly what happened in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Obviously, if after he makes this new version, the one that he thinks is going to be better, according to his logic, there's this ghost like the Gnosis that want to destroy it. Of course, the guy is going to fight back to protect his creation. And he's going, not surprisingly, to single-handedly save them, which is exactly what the lone hero does at the beginning of Xenoblade Chronicles X in the original. And then you don't see him again until now, until the definitive edition with the extra story at the end. So what we're gonna have in the extra story at the end is that Elma and the party and the group and the protagonists are gonna actually meet this lone hero guy, this Alpha X. So the Alpha character, the not good Albus character of Xenoblade Chronicles X, of the X reality, which is not gonna be like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but there are gonna be things similar. Just like there are differences, there are going to be similarities as well. So what's gonna happen is that I think that the boss battle, the final battle in this new story is gonna be the lone hero as Alpha X, because they're going, they're gonna find out what really happened. They're gonna find out that this Alpha X, sure, he saved them, but he also destroyed the original ones and recreated them as this new version that is what they are. Obviously, the protagonist and Elma and the others and all the humans who think that they are still are the old ones, they're gonna like that. So this lone hero character is gonna be kind of like the evil Noah. So it's gonna go like from, oh, our hero to, god damn, this guy is like Alpha basically, Alpha X. And Alpha X won. So he won, which means that you guys were recreated, all of you, and all you were destroyed. They don't exist anymore. This guy changed everything. And planet Earth was destroyed, and you were brought to this new planet. And basically, your old civilization and what you were was wiped out. And this Alpha X guy that actually saved your boss later on, the lone hero, that's why they call him the lone hero, actually destroyed all of you before. So it and Xenoblade loves this plot twist, and they are very good at them. They did it in Xenoblade 1. They kind of did it, not too much, but they kind of did it not that strongly in Xenoblade 2. And they definitely did it again in Xenoblade 3. They did it in Xenogears. They did it in, yeah, someone sent me a message there. That kind of threw me off what I had in my mind. They did it in the whole Xeno franchise, so they have to do it again in X. And I don't think they're doing it just because they like copying and kind of like stealing from the old stories. No. I think they're doing it with a purpose and for a reason, and they're gonna use the fact that the different Xenoblade realities, 1, 2, 3, and X, have similarities. They're gonna use that fact as a big story component in the new one that they're doing after X for Switch. And I'm gonna give you years before that one a full story of what that one can be. But we gotta begin somewhere, right? First, I'm gonna give you my prediction for what they're gonna do in the new ending for X. I am a fan of the Xenoblade series, of this whole Xeno franchise, so I'm not just making this video because I am beginning my sci-fi action thriller authors channel, which I am beginning that right now. I just have this like the second video I'm making. I'm also giving you this video because I like the Xenoblade games and the series. So I know that the fans of that, other fans like me, are gonna enjoy this. I heard other interesting predictions from other players. We don't know who's gonna have it right, but just in case I got it right, I want to publish this. Today we're like 2 days before the release. So the other predictions are also pretty good. So if you want predictions of this, I recommend listening to the others too. However, I think I'm gonna get it all right. We'll see. Because I noticed that they're making similar things in the stories for all the Xenoblade games. What have they done in the others that they haven't done in Xenoblade X yet? So I think they're gonna do it, right? One is final battle versus the deity, which typically is this robotic Albus deity. Well, they haven't done it yet, but they're gonna do it. Who is it gonna be? The only character that we haven't learned anything about yet is basically the lone hero and the ghosts in the X reality, which are a lot like the Gnosis, basically, like a different version of the Gnosis for their reality. But the final boss is not gonna be the Gnosis. I think it's gonna be a lone hero, and which is and they love plot twists that confuse people. That people are like, what? I thought this was a good guy and it's a bad guy, and I thought this was a bad guy, and it turns out it's gonna do something. He's going to do something good at the end. So they really haven't done that in Xenoblade Chronicles X. They're gonna do it now then, at the end, in the new ending. So main prediction is new ending. We're gonna find out who are the Trinity characters in the Zohar or the Conduit in X. They haven't even seen the real Zohar Conduit X yet. So these Zohars of Conduit always have like a trinity of 3 characters that are like demigods. They're good ones, bad ones. Like there's like a good one, like a bad one. The bad one is capable of destroying the world, basically. The good one is capable of saving it. And there's like a third one, which is like the robot, right? Like the Albus. Albus is in everything. So Albus is, in my opinion, outside the Zohar, the Conduit. He's basically the creator of the whole thing. According to me, right? So they're gonna tell you who are the 3 characters. In my opinion, the good character, the equivalent of Numa, Fira, Mithra, Matthew, in this X is gonna be the protagonist. It's gonna be you. You know, the character that you customize, the one that you play as and that you made. And I think that's the case because they have the look of Pyra and Mithra in that character's creation screen. So that tells me, oh, they're thinking that you can be that one. You know, the savior character for the protagonist. It makes sense. I think the robot Albus one is gonna be the lone hero, in my opinion. I don't think they're gonna make him the bad one or the destroyer. They could make him, and then they might come up with someone else as Albus. The bad one, right? The robot, the processor system, like computer, basically, like a central part of the Trinity. I think it's gonna be the lone hero, and the equivalent of A or Cosmos. It could also be the equivalent of Cosmos. It's gonna be Elma. Makes sense to me. I think that. Almost sure that I'm gonna get that right. So Elma is gonna be an equivalent of either A or Cosmos or both, even both, because she's a lot like A, but she's also like a robot, basically, like a living robot. So she's got things from both, from Cosmos and from Elma, and from A, from Future Redeemed in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So that's pretty much it. Because when they do that, they're already connecting X to the others, because everyone is going to be able to see clearly that, well, this is happening in all the Xenoblade Chronicles. It happened in 1, it happened in 2, it happened in 3, it happened in X. It's pretty obvious right now that this is like a repetition of realities of things. You know that Xenoblade is basically a mix of science fiction and fantasy. It's not just science fiction, it's a lot of fantasy there too. I think they're gonna end up using this theory that reality is kind of like a simulation from a computer thing. I think they might end up using that. But I'm gonna leave talking a little bit more about that for my prediction and my full complete story. What I will do, I'm gonna tell you that for what we could call Xenoblade Chronicles 4, or what I will call the final Xenoblade Chronicles, because I think they're gonna do something that's gonna put all the franchises together: Xenogears, Xenosaga, Xenoblade, and all those games and stories and characters, and they're gonna mix it in a new story where you're gonna see characters and things from all the others, and they're gonna finally fix the whole thing. They're gonna finally give you the... If they manage to give you something more epic than Xenoblade Chronicles 3, oh boy, that's gonna definitely put them like at the top as, Monolith Soft, as the new Squaresoft, and perhaps even a company that is capable of dethroning Squaresoft. So me, as a new science fiction author, also an author of action thrillers, because I really like action thrillers and science fiction, so I will mix those things. And as a fan of this series, I came up with a lot of ideas of how they might do the next story, the next big Xenoblade, not X, the one that comes after X, what they're gonna do next, and also how they can end X. To me, it's obvious that they're gonna tie all of this with X at the end, and they're also going to clearly explain the lone hero. The lone hero is gonna be either the Malus of the X reality or the Alpha, like Alpha X. It's gonna be one of those two. We're gonna get something interesting there, because so far in the other games, the bad guy, the Alpha, that kind of boss, final boss at the end, didn't win. The good guys won. But I think in X they're gonna show you like what happens when in one of those versions of reality the other guy wins. So what happens is what they got in Xenoblade Chronicles X, and the party, Elma, you the protagonist, and the others are gonna find out about that in this new ending, this new final story for the game. And that definitely works like something that they love doing in Xenoblade. That definitely was as another choker, another plot twist, something that you didn't expect. Because I've seen the predictions, they're really cool, they're good ideas, but I haven't seen anyone in these predictions say that the lone hero, they might turn him around and make him the villain, the final boss. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do that. Because that's the kind of plot twist that they like in Xenoblade, in Xenogears and all that. And that's what's coming for you at the new end of Xenoblade Chronicles X. Let's see, in a few days, in a few weeks, because I'm not gonna play the game, so I'm gonna have to wait a few weeks to actually get to the videos where they show you what happens in the new ending and who the new final boss is and what happens with the lone hero and the goals and all that. So I'm gonna have to wait weeks to see if I was right here or not. If I am right here, that's good news. That's good news. I actually predicted, if you're gonna be a science fiction author, an author of action thrillers in science fiction, it's good for you if you can, like, all of a sudden, basically, which is what I'm doing right now, grab another great story in the genre and predict how they're gonna make a sequel for it. Or if you don't get the prediction right, make yourself the great sequel for it with your own ideas, right? I didn't write it or anything, but I'm just telling you the ideas that I have. If it was me who had to write that, I would go that path. I would go the path of the lone hero is gonna be Alpha X, and he won against the other heroes and destroyed the original version of humankind, which were, the flesh and blood humans. And then he made the version that he wanted, which is what Alpha wanted in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, right? and the outcome is what you have in Xenoblade Chronicles X. But Elma and the party and the protagonist are not gonna like that. So, newsflash, new final boss battle is gonna be against the lone hero guy after you know the whole truth. Hopefully they make it like that. If they don't make it like that, it's just gonna be another version of Robo Alvis, basically Alpha X Robo Alvis for this Xenoblade, which would not be as epic in my opinion as if you're fighting as the new final boss, the guy that you thought that saved all of you before. That's pretty curveball. And Xenoblade, this Takahashi guy, this Takahashi author, loves the curve balls and the plot twists. So guess what? I'm gonna throw another one. And that's my prediction. So stay tuned if you want to see what I'm going to predict for the complete story of the next Xenoblade game that they're gonna do for Switch 2 after X. You know, follow me here. It's gonna be a video that's gonna come, yeah, within 1 month. Within 1 month, I'm gonna post a video for that, which yeah, I'm gonna have to train for that one. Otherwise, it's gonna be a really long video, like 1 hour and a half. I need to try to do that video in no more than 1 hour. Basically, I'm giving you a Xenoblade Chronicles 4 unofficial story by me, a prediction, but it is also a complete plot and a new story. So if you want that, follow me here. That's coming. If I, you know, we're still ahead like 1 or 2 years before that one comes out. If I predict a lot of that one, maybe I should send a letter to Takahashi and you know, asking for joining his writing team, his science fiction Xenoblade thriller plot development and storytelling development team, which has been doing really well. I really enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Honestly, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the only story that I've seen in the last 10, 12 years, and maybe even 15 years that made me feel as excited and entertained as the ones that I can write, as the ones that I can do and publish and share. So if you want more stories that are at the level of the Xenoblade saga series, follow me here, because the original ones that I'm gonna do and that I want to share and sell like in chunks, like in volumes of chapters, so I can release them faster and for a much cheaper price, they're gonna be at that level, you know, in writing, in a book, but they are gonna be the level of plot that is basically at the level of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but with a different story and with different characters. But you know, we need more experiences like that in our lives. I think it has given me a lot in my personal life to have those experiences, to know them, and it is definitely what motivated me to want to finally start producing them and sharing them. And it is the reason why I'm making this this video. And in reality, I'm making this prediction video not just for the Xenoblade series, but also because I want viewers and future readers of me, of my books, my series, to know that you can trust me to develop a great story. So how can I make sure that you trust me? Well, you're gonna see my prediction for Xenoblade X, the new ending for it, before it comes out. So there's no way that I could have seen what really happens in the official one. You're gonna see my full prediction for the whole next Xenoblade game, like Xenoblade 4 basically. That's gonna mix all of the series from Xeno Multiverse. Make sure that you watch my intro video in the channel, because I also will leave a link there in a post in the comments to all the other fan fiction that I did. I did sequels for The Matrix. I did a really good sequel for The Matrix, way better than the original one. I did my version of Star Wars Episode 8 before they release the, you know, the, I don't want to say third, but it really is a third. It was so bad. The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was very disappointing. Like, they literally destroyed Luke Skywalker, who had been a big hero for generations, for several people that love Star Wars. So luckily for me, I came up with a much better story like that, and I published it back then, so you can still see the date, and you can see that I came up with that and published it before the official movie release in theaters. And it was much better than The Last Jedi. I think I named it The New Jedis. And it was, I still remember the story, right? Because I came up with that story back then, and I wrote it and posted it. So you want to get links for that and you want to read it? Great, cool stuff that continues those other classics, you know, like Star Wars, Naruto Shippuden. I did a sequel for that is better than Boruto. Go to the introductory video, the intro video in the channel, and go to the comments. If you don't want to hear me talking for like 1 hour in the video, go to the comments and go to the links. And you can get the stories that I did before, you know, for other series, for other existing and very popular worldwide series. I did them and I shared them there. But right now, you know, I'm not going to just make predictions. You're gonna see me doing the original ones. I'm gonna make an original series. It's what I'm doing the channel. So stay tuned for all that. If you want to ask me something, if you want someone like me with this kind of mind that is good for these Xenoblade 3 level stories, if you want someone like that to answer a question that you have, an interesting question, send it my way. If I really like your question, I'm gonna make a video to answer it. I'm gonna mention your username, of course, so that you know it's for you. And I'm gonna share it here publicly in the channel. So let's put this mind to work, right? Not just in stories, but in anything that the viewers want to send me and ask me. If it is something interesting, I will definitely answer it. Until next time. So I think that next time I'm gonna make some videos talking about the other fan fiction that I did, just so that the people that are fans of those series can also come here and follow me in the new one that I'm doing, which I will do my best to make it better. Hopefully I can make it at least as good as Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If I make it at least as good as Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I think I can, we're in the right ballpark. We're in the right path. But I will try to do it even better. It's the right idea. It's what I want. I wanted to do something really epic so that all of you guys and me, we can all have a great experience. I'm gonna leave it here. I think I talked enough. 38 minutes. Just to give you a prediction to the ending. Alright, I hope you like watching me. I need to work on making shorter videos, but for now, this is gonna have to be it for this one. See you next time. Author Pedro Cristobal, logging out of YouTube.